Nesha is a brilliantly animated Chinese film about a boy born as a demon and trying his hardest to feel accepted into his community. And it was a big success, so they created a sequel film, and calling that movie a success would be a massive understatement. As of recording this video, this film has made $1.9 billion, and I have to say, it completely earns it. I watched both films over the last few days, and I really enjoyed both of them, so sit back and watch me sing its praises until I start talking about the spoilers. Although this movie definitely isn't perfect, by the way, but I really enjoyed it. So right off the bat, you should definitely watch the first film before the second. The first one focuses a lot more on overcoming adversity and the difficulty in feeling different from everyone else. It's quite a sad story with emotional plot points, and the same can be said for the second film. And it hits harder because the film has so much personality to it. I'm just chilling, having a genuinely fun time with the film, which by the way can be enjoyed by both adults and children, so the jokes can be quite childish, but I think it adds to the overall charm of the film. So when the more emotional plot points arrive, it really catches the viewer off guard in a good way. I was very invested into the story and I just wanted to know what would happen next, especially because the characters are so likable.
With Nesha in particular standing out as a great character.
He's a very troubled kid and you can tell that he's got good intentions. And Nesha's relationship with Ao Bing, who is supposed to be his sworn rival, is definitely the most interesting dynamic the franchise offers. And they battle it out in the first film before realizing what they really want. And then in this movie they're combined into the same body, which I really enjoyed. They have such contrasting personalities and even in the way they battle, so it allows for some really comedic moments and really fun action scenes. But most of all, we get to watch these two grow as characters and learn about one another in the process, which was really beautiful to see. There's some great character development in this film, and the same can definitely be said with the villains.
The second film significantly improves upon one of its villains.
He was kind of a joke in the first film, so I was completely shocked when I found myself rooting for him. And the villains have genuinely realistic and reasonable motivations. They are the hero of their own story. It's one of my favorite things a story can do. And so even though I care about Nesha, I also started to care about their opponents. And speaking of things I love about movies, I have to talk about the world building in these movies. It is insane that in this movie they already had a fleshed out world in the first film with good rivalries and fleshed out villages. But this film takes it to the next level, and I'm a huge sucker for good world building, so I loved it so much. Also, as you may have noticed by now, the animation is so good to look at, especially when there are big action scenes with a lot at stake. They kind of remind me of Dragon Ball movies in terms of how epic it gets, but with even better animation. We get a lot more action in this film compared to the last, and I'm all for it. Every single one of them was either really fun or super suspenseful. And they're all amazing to look at. The animation thrives with its action scenes, but whenever they discover something new in this world, the animation really pops off, and oh my god, this movie's so good. Oh, and of course, the soundtrack is honestly really beautiful. It fits with the Chinese culture very well, and especially the emotional moments are backed up with some truly stunning music. The film certainly isn't perfect, however. They definitely make too many jokes throughout the whole movie, which is fine for a lot of people, but for me, I'm more interested in the story than the fun personality this movie builds. For those of you who've seen the goated show Avatar: Last Airbender, you'd know that the show is hilarious for both adults and kids, as it doesn't lean too heavily with childish jokes. But in this movie, they make a lot of fart jokes and shit that only 5-year-olds would laugh at. Or maybe I'm just getting too old, but a lot of the jokes didn't land. It is only a minor complaint though, since they did tone the jokes down in the third act for both movies. Plus, I certainly laughed a lot more than I didn't. Now, this part does contain minor spoilers, but I'll try and dance around it. So skip to this timestamp if you don't want to risk it.
In the meantime, you can have a look at my puppy. Okay, cool, spoiler time. So one of the villains watches their family member die.
And for me, it definitely could have been done a lot better. The person who died was introduced like literally 30 minutes ago. So it was definitely a missed opportunity to not introduce that character even in the first film, and I think that scene could have been a lot more impactful. And so that part of the story felt a little bit rushed, but it didn't influence the story too much. Now, most people are saying that the second film is an improvement from the first. And in a lot of ways I agree, especially in terms of the animation, action, and overall scale of this film. However, my hot take is that they're both just as good as each other. It's not because I think the film has many flaws, I just think that the first film is also brilliant. The second movie never reached the heights of the first film, which was when Nesha realizes that he shouldn't follow his fate, rather create his own path, and then even teaches that lesson to his sworn rival. So overall, I give both Nesha movies an 8.5 out of 10.
Thank you guys for watching. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments and whether or not this is your first time watching a Chinese animated film, because for me it definitely was, and I'll watch some more from this point forward. I'll be talking about the Oscar winners in my next video, so stay tuned for that. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. We're a small but growing community, so I'd love you if you did, and I've got loads of other 5-minute reviews if you're interested. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See ya!